Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fundraising BIDness Talk. This is episode 33. I'm on a roll, gang. I'm on a roll. My name is Patrick Siver. I'm the owner and lead auctioneer for G Events based in Beaverton, beautiful Beaverton, Oregon. It is just outside of the city of Portland, and it is another glorious, glorious day here in the Pacific Northwest. And so excited to have folks starting to join us and say hello. And it is, looky there, Abra, all the way from down in Texas. Abra, great to see your wonderful name, and hope all is well with you. Actually, Abra's in the Bay Area, so thank you for joining us today, Abra. Great to see you. Want to remind everybody as you tune in today, hey, please feel free. Let us know, say hello, and let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to chat back at you. And as always, please do feel free to ask questions in the comments. This is a interactive show. We love to answer questions and hear people's thoughts on current events in the fundraising BIDness auction business. And Abra's corrected me. She is now in Florida, so fantastic. Abra and I were together in a BAS course back several years ago down in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And very, very talented benefit auctioneer, a lot to bring to the table, Abra is. So great to hear from you, and I'm glad to see you're down in Florida, living it up down there. So that's fantastic. Hey, folks, we're going to chat every week on Fundraising BIDness Talk. We chat about current events and what's going on in the fundraising auction business, and it seems to be a recurring theme right now, but I think it is, and that is what is going on in our industry, and more importantly, what's happening for our nonprofit partners who hire us as business, as professional fundraising auctioneers, to help them raise money for their organization in this incredibly challenging landscape as we navigate our way through the pandemic. And I have to tell you, folks, I am, one thing that the common theme that comes up constantly to me is the first question that I ask any of our nonprofit clients is, do you need to raise money? And as of today, as of within an hour ago, I have had every nonprofit say the exact same thing, which was yes. And so let's decide right now that if you are a nonprofit and you have raised money through auctions or galas, that type of special fundraising events in the past, despite this challenging environment, you still need to raise money. And so I think it's very, very important to have a plan in place and know that you're going to still accomplish that mission and raise some money. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think that I want to share with you a little bit about what I believe in and how I think that that affects our clients and our results. And number one that I believe is that your benefit auctioneer, if they are a committed and a professional benefit auctioneer, that they are an incredible asset to your organization. And I also believe that in many cases, they're an underutilized asset to your organization, in that many benefit auctioneers who have committed their career to learning the benefit auction business, that they're more than an auctioneer, they're more than a bid caller, and they have resources and experiences that can help your organization navigate this challenging time. And I would say today it's their value is higher than ever, because we are as benefit auctioneers, we have been in the middle of this since March of 2020. I know I dove in on March 9th and did my first virtual event March 11th, but we have been knee deep in this, and the industry has done an incredible job, I think, of auctioneers, that is, in other industries, but I've been particularly impressed with the benefit auctioneers as we have come together and shared with one another all the lessons that we are learning in this new environment. And we are in a position to pass those on to our clients. And in many ways, we are able to help them with accomplishing their goals, regardless of all the changes that they have to make. And that's the new world. I like to say that this pandemic has taken our etch a sketch and shaken it up and down rather violently. And the plans that we used to use are out the window. But that does not mean that you cannot still cross the finish line. And the finish line would be raising money for your nonprofit. And I think you'll find that our industry and the benefit auction industry and benefit auctioneers and many in the event business, audiovisual companies, software companies are 100% behind helping those nonprofits continue to achieve their goals and to continue those goals, which are, furthering their mission, and at the end of the day, making our communities a better place to live and work. And so, with that being said, I think there's some things that I'll share. I've shared before. I'm going to share again because I want to reinforce that the philosophy hasn't changed here at G Events, and with me, I've had the same philosophy now um, since early spring of 2020, and that is if you are planning a fundraising event, you should definitely plan and have the ability to go virtual. And when you, I know that some people are hesitant to do virtual. Um, I know that some people, it's not their style. They really love gathering. I love gathering, but at the end of the day, if we're not in a position or it's not acceptable to gather, then we need to go virtual because virtual, we have 18 months basically under our belts. And the proof is in the pudding, folks. We are still raising money with virtual and we're doing it regularly. And so um, it may not be your plan A, but it needs to be in your planning. You need to be in a position that you know that whatever date you've scheduled your event, that you are going to be fundraising that day. And yes, you may hope that it's in person, um, but if it can't be in person because of whether it's government regulations or it's the community that you live in and the sense of the folks that would normally support your organization that they do not want to come together, or you find that your biggest donors are not comfortable coming together, then let's be prepared to go virtual. And um, that's the only way it's going to be successful at this point. And I was talking to an individual yesterday who shared with me they had just received a new job. They had been out of work for several months. They left another nonprofit because of layoffs, because of the pandemic, and I just couldn't help but wonder to myself. And I tried to look it up, but I believe they were one of the organizations who canceled their fundraising events because of COVID. They did not embrace the virtual world, and they did not embrace this new format of fundraising. And so I'm sure that had to impact whether this person had a job or not at that nonprofit. And not them personally making that decision, but as an organization, um, because we have to raise the money, right? So that being said, let's talk a little bit about some positive things and talk about how we can make this conversion, because I think in some cases many organizations thought 6 months ago that we are on our way out of this environment, that they were going to be able to gather again. I know I've done 2 in-person events in the last couple of weeks uh, for different organizations, and they were very successful. But many of my fall uh, events that were planned they've either moved to virtual, or they have had to pivot over to virtual because they felt like they could not comfortably ask their supporters to gather in person. And that's okay, right? But we were able to do the event. And my concern is for those groups who have hoped to do an in-person event, and now they've signed a contract with a venue and they're kind of locked in, because folks, you need to read contracts better and closer than you ever have, because if one of the things that the pandemic taught us was our contract language was not as tight as it should have been or could have been, and many organizations and many venues, many caterers, many small businesses were exposed by their contracts, and not exposed in a negative way, but it wasn't clear how to handle cancellations, postponements, whether it was government mandated, or did it fall under the force majeure, or was it just a decision by the group? Because for example, if our government is telling us that we need to wear masks at an event, there's some organizations that feel like, hey, I don't want to do the event because our guests are not going to want to wear a mask. Well, that's that's your choice, but recognize that that postponement or that cancellation probably doesn't fall under a force majeure, depending on the way it's worded. So I'm not an attorney. I'm always going to give you that disclaimer, but definitely read your contracts and make sure that you understand before you're signing up to host an event, and you're signing on the dotted line for a caterer, or for an audiovisual company, or for an auctioneer, for a venue, for a decorator, for an event planner. Make sure that you 100% understand the terminology and understand your responsibilities and your organization's responsibilities, right? Because March 2020, people were pretty forgiving, and I don't think any of us ever thought that this was going to last as long as it has. And now all of a sudden, people are in different financial positions, and a 2 week shutdown to flatten the curve has turned into 19 months or something like that, and no end in sight, quite honestly. So make sure you read your contracts. Now, that being said, if you have gotten yourself into a contract, you said, hey, Patrick, we have already negotiated agreement with a venue. We've got a caterer on the hook. We've got an auctioneer. We've got a decorator. We've got software. We've got all these things, and we can't be in person. What do we do, right? Well, I'm going to tell you that because you don't probably want to, you've got a catering commitment and you've got a venue commitment, hopefully you're going to move the date of the event that you're going to host at that venue. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to move the date of your fundraising, right? If anything, you're going to have a second fundraising date. One of the things that I have done with a couple of clients this fall is that they were in this exact same position. And I said, we've already told people that you were having a fundraiser on November 4th or October 15th, whatever that date was. Let's keep our commitment there. Let's go ahead and let's do what I would call a very budget aware, very cost effective way of creating a virtual event, and uh, raising some money on that day and providing our audience with an opportunity. And this is key, folks. Provide your audience with an opportunity to support you. Okay. And then we can postpone getting together in person, and that'll be a secondary opportunity for people to support you. But I get really concerned when we postpone an event and we think, well, it definitely will be better in the spring. That's what we said in the spring of 2020. It was that, oh, we'll be able to do it in the fall, and we couldn't. And then we thought we could do it in the spring of 21, and we couldn't. And we thought we could do it in the fall of 21, and many could not, right? So, protect yourself, right? And so I feel strongly that it's a great opportunity to share with people that, hey, we were hoping to get together. I'm going to use the date October 15th. We don't feel comfortable gathering in person, but we are going to gather online, and we're going to support our organization. And we want to share with you all the great things that we're doing in our community. And we want to give you an opportunity to support us. We have all of our auction items gathered. We have all of our um, content put together, and we want to share it with you. And so we're going to do it virtually on that day. And then we're going to reschedule our gathering event to when it's more appropriate for us to all gather and we can celebrate the successes of your support. And I think that's a tremendous message, right? And you can go to the bank on that. So I'm going to encourage you to think about low cost, inexpensive ways to produce a virtual. There's all sorts of different things. For example, I'm using StreamYard right now. Now, StreamYard, you can have a uh, basic account for free, and you could live stream to your social media. You could live stream to your auction platform, depending on which one you're using. I'm obviously a huge fan. Everybody knows I've never been shy. I'm a huge fan of Octria.com because I can put the live stream right into the website. I can put it, right where people can push a button and donate. And so I'm a huge fan of that with live streaming. But my point here is that we're able to live stream using a service like StreamYard, and you can do it on a basic account for free. Okay. Now, if you're going to use your auctioneer, which I'm going to strongly encourage you to use your auctioneer, and here's why. I think that how many of us have gotten to the point where we sign up for webinars, but we don't attend, and we wait for the recording and we fast forward through it, no different than we now do with episodes on a television show or live streaming movies or any of those types of things, right? Excuse me. We're doing it there. Um, we're doing it regularly, right? I fast forward through a webinar this morning from one of the auction platforms. Um, I didn't see any reason that I needed to be on that program at the live time. Okay, many of our viewers here on Fundraising BIDness Talk watch it at their leisure, right? They watch the replays. I can see the replay count's a lot higher than the live count. That's okay. Now, here's my point though. You must incorporate a live auction into your live stream, because a live auction is what's going to draw your people, because they know they cannot participate in the live auction after on the repeat. Okay. Folks cannot participate in the live auction on the repeat when they replay it. Okay. But they can in the real event. And what's great about that is it builds that excitement and builds that enthusiasm and gives your event a crescendo of activity, and the energy builds up to it, and you have that live event component in your virtual event. And I've been confused. I've seen many auctioneers around the country who have avoided doing live auctions in a virtual fundraising event. And I've got to be honest with you, I think in many cases, it's because of the inadequacies of the bidding platform or the auction software. And that's too bad, because there are great solutions out there, very price conscious solutions. Like I said, Octria.com, one of the least expensive but most robust programs in the auction software environment today. But um, I'm going to encourage you, because you're having that live auction element, and you should, because that is what attracts people, is that live auction element. Otherwise, they can just watch the replay. And in the replay, I don't believe people are as motivated to give, not just bid on items, but I don't believe they're as motivated to give when they just watch the replay. But if I can get the energy and they're excited about doing a live auction and watching a live auction, and they're hearing people's names that they know, things of that nature, I'm very confident that we're going to raise more money than we would if we didn't have a live auction. So there's your first reason, right, that you need that live auctioneer. So, to recap, we're going to start with, if we feel like we need to postpone that gathering event, let's not postpone our fundraising. Okay, let's keep our fundraising on the date that we already told everybody we were fundraising. They have it in their mind. They're going to support your cause on that date. Let's give them an opportunity to do that. So let's use a tool like StreamYard, who is very cost effective. Let's secure our auctioneer. Now we may end up paying a second auctioneer fee. But at the end of the day, hey, if we're working twice, we should get paid twice if we're doing two events. But a lot of the other costs can be postponed with that postponement. Hopefully you're able to postpone your audio visual. You're able to postpone your venue contract commitment. You're able to postpone your catering contract. And so the other thing to keep in mind, and I've seen this happen a couple of times recently, is that those vendors, the venue, the caterer, they will postpone, but they want to get paid, and they want to get paid on time when they were committed to do the event. And so now you really need that additional fundraising opportunity to make sure you can pay those bills. And then when you do gather, you'll have less bills, for that second event, and it can be very, very positive for you. So, and when you think about your auction software, right, when we're looking at cost, I'm always thinking to myself, most of the benefit auction software today is sold on an annual subscription. And so doing multiple events within a year doesn't cost you any more on that subscription. And so, really your primary cost might be having a second fee from your auctioneer. And if that's your investment, if you're able to use StreamYard, if you're able to use these features, maybe you have somebody, and I can give you a couple of recommendations, whether it's the AV department or it's Anka Tree Fan over at Tree Fan Events, that can do some remote production for you. It may not be terribly expensive, and they can help you, guide you through that process of putting the electronic components, the assets, and actually broadcasting. Even though you're using StreamYard, it's nice to have someone who knows, how to push the buttons at the right time. But I do this show right here all by myself, right? And I've done several fundraising auctions on StreamYard this last fall, or last spring, I should say, and it was fantastic. In fact, if you want to see any of those, you can just go to fundraisingbidnesstalk.com, and that is my Vimeo channel. And there's a whole showcase of nothing but StreamYard based fundraising events. And so check it out and see. But that's I think is a great solution for a lot of groups. If you were planning on virtual this fall, congratulations, you're on your way. You're all in place, and you're going to have a successful fall. If you were one of those groups who was really committed to maybe having that gathering event, and you don't feel like, or you're not confident you're going to be able to pull that off now, now is the time to make a quick shift, and like I said, postpone that gathering event, but do not postpone your fundraising. Keep your fundraising date on the same date, and do a very cost-effective live stream, and provide your donors with an opportunity to support yourself. That is crucial. Otherwise, you won't be having those dollars. So I want to open it up for questions. If there's any questions or comments, if you're tuning in, please, hey, say hello and let us know where you're coming in from today. We'd like to say hi back. And if you have any questions, please feel free to fire them up. I want to remind you, we do this every Wednesday at noon. It's Fundraising BIDness Talk is live right here. We broadcast using StreamYard. We broadcast both on our Facebook page, both our G Events page and my personal Patrick Cyber page. We also broadcast on LinkedIn through my personal profile there. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we are also on Twitter. Twitter. So isn't that amazing that we can broadcast to 6 different platforms simultaneously? And like I said earlier, you can always catch the replays on fundraisingbidnesstalk.com. And as we sign off for today, I'm going to remind you, if there's ever an opportunity that you would like to speak to us one-on-one individually, talk about your event, or you've got some questions about something we've said or thoughts that we've had, want to bounce some ideas off of us, go to geventsllc.com. You'll scroll down to the Calendly um, section, and you can book a free consultation, a free opportunity to visit with me and pick a time that works best for you, because we're all about working around your calendar. And book a time, and it will automatically send you a Zoom link, and we'll be able to get together and chat about what's going on in your world and see how possibly we can help you. Otherwise, folks, I always like to remind you we're in the auction business, and focus on it does not matter where you start the bidding. It's all about where you finish. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. We hope you have a terrific day, and we'll look forward to catching you next week. Have a great day, everybody.